Hello, Lannister NBDR followers. Joseph Snyder here, CEO, Lannister Holdings, Lannister Capital, Lannister Development. Fantastic to be with you guys on August 1st, the first Wednesday of the month. And thank you so much for your time and your attention. Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to jump right in. There's been so many things going on, and some of it we're going to be talking about today. Some of it we have some announcements coming out through the end of this week. First and foremost is we have added some new advisory board members. There are actually two more that are coming in the next week that we have already gotten set up and who are already engaged with the team and doing some incredible things, but we haven't announced them yet, so we're going to talk about the ones that we have already announced. And that is, first and foremost, Francine Hardaway. Francine is an incredible person. I love her very, very much. I've known her for a few years. She is out of Phoenix, Arizona. And she is deeply experienced in public relations, entrepreneurship, angel investing, and venture capital. She brings an absolute wealth of knowledge to our team and has been diligently working with Marissa and our public relations and media teams to add some impact, add some value. And I actually have a meeting scheduled with her tomorrow. So her and I will be spending some time together tomorrow and going over some details. So welcome, Francine. Thank you so much for joining us, and you are greatly appreciated. Additionally to that, we have Robert McNulty, Bob. Bob is a phenomenal individual. I have the distinct pleasure of knowing him and having had some meetings with him and dinners with him. And this guy has been there, done that. Let me tell you, he has run public companies. He built shopping.com, exited it for something like $300 million, built up a home improvement store a chain to $1 billion in revenue. Just, I mean, this guy has absolutely seen it all, heard it all, done it all. He knows all of the different moves and all of the different structures and things. And just in this little bit of time since he's joined the advisory board, I've gotten great insight on ways that we can structure things, ways that we can put strategies together, both for the Pubco side and also just for our inter-business operations and strategic partnerships and things like that. So super, super happy to have Bob with us. Additionally to that, on top of all of his background and history, Bob is now the CEO of SupplyBlock, and SupplyBlock is a blockchain company focused on logistics and supply chain in blockchain. And so we're having a great time looking at use cases with them and different things as they move forward through their funding rounds and as he takes that company forward and how we can serve and add value together. So just a phenomenal group of people. To be honest, and this is just from a personal note, I don't think that you guys really understand how impactful and important and amazing this group of advisors who has agreed to come on and support our mission really is. These are not folks who just sign on to every little thing that comes their way. These are not folks that need a resume boost. And they give us incredible value. They are actively engaged. They are challenging us. They are pushing us. They are driving us. Brian Dawson, Michael Noel, Bo Headforce, John White, Francine Hardaway, Robert McNulty. All of these people are so incredibly dynamic, and they are so valuable to the work that we do as sounding boards for different parts of our team to be able to engage with and ask questions and get advice. Just a punching me in the face. I mean, I get emails from these people like, that was dumb, don't do that, you know, or whatever. And that's what we need, right? We need to be challenged. We need to have to forced to level up in order to grow and in order to excel and succeed. I don't want to be in a room full of people telling me how, oh, you're so smart, you did such a great job. I want to be in a room full of people going, hey, this could have been a little bit better. And hey, did you think about this? And did you see it this way? And that pushes us to grow. That pushes us to succeed. So follow those folks on social media. Check them out on Twitter. Look them up on LinkedIn. These people are truly amazing people, and I am incredibly grateful for their time, their attention, and their dedication to our mission. Going from there, we did have a press release today. We do have some shareholder questions that I'm going to get to, and this kind of ties into some of those. So we did have a press release today, and we've announced our strategic alliance with Four Peaks Funding out of Phoenix. This is kind of the culmination, the beginning of the culmination of our circle, tying back to this mission around syndicated real estate finance and syndicated real estate investment, structured real estate investment vehicles. We believe as an internal use case that blockchain technologies make these structures better. They make them faster, they make them cleaner, they make them more transparent, they make them lower cost, they make them reduce risk, more liquid. Those are really positive things when you're looking at a structured real estate investment, when you're looking at a tax advantage investment vehicle. And so Four Peaks is a really unique player in the space. Josh particularly is a phenomenal human being. I know him personally. I've gotten to spend time with him. We've broken bread together. He views things like I view things, where malleable structures are being able to be played with, and the existing structures exist for good reason, but we need to look at how we use them with new technologies. We need to look at how we structure things in unique and creative ways in order to get outsized results and in order to deploy to market with interesting solutions. And I really felt after Josh and I spent some time together that we had a real potential for partnership and a real potential for a really, really, really dynamic relationship between our companies. And so that's why we've gone ahead and executed a strategic alliance with them. We will be and already are actively referring people in our network over to Josh to look at funding structures. Josh is looking at some funding structures that we've presented to him around the uses that we see for blockchain and how we can build some of these things and how we might, connect with him and Four Peaks and their network on bringing in those funding groups and things to actually deploy these things in the test cases and everything else in the real world there in the state of Arizona. So please go check out Four Peaks Funding. Check them out on Twitter. Check them out on their website. Say hello to Josh. He is an amazing, amazing guy, and we're super, super stoked to be partnered with them and move forward in looking at how we deploy these funding structures and offering commercial and investment financing to our network and our inbound leads. That brings us to some of the shareholder questions a little bit. One of the question groups that we got was, what happened to Lannister Capital? That is being answered right now. So Lannister Capital is one of the entities that is executing this strategic alliance with Four Peaks Funding. Lannister Capital is now a wholly owned subsidiary of No Borders Inc. And that process is complete. Lannister Capital will be the entity that manages our strategic funding, our strategic partnerships around funding and finance and deployment of these blockchain technologies for real estate finance and other types of finance and funding situations. That's what Lannister Capital was designed to do from the very beginning. That's what Lannister Capital has been essentially sitting there as we've built up some of these other pieces and gone to market with some of the other pieces of the play that we needed to put first. And so Lannister Capital is now has been brought into the fold. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of No Borders, and it will be moving forward transacting business underneath a strategic partnership with Four Peaks Funding. So I hope that answers that question. The second question and the third question from this particular list of questions were, what happened to an ICO? And then what happened to or what is going on with some sort of a dividend structure? So I want to answer both of those questions because they're valid and they need to be answered. And so we're going to address that. First of all, what happened to an ICO? We were never going to do an ICO as a public company. We were originally looking at the legal ramifications of going to market with an ICO versus going to market with a reverse merger. We chose to go with the reverse merger for a lot of reasons. And a lot of those reasons really apply way more today than they necessarily did at the time that we decided to do that at the end of last year. At the end of last year, you could still go to market with an ICO as a utility token and just sell it to everybody and raise a bunch of money and have a great time. Now, that sounds great, but when I looked at that, it looked to me like those were probably securities, and it looked to me like they were probably unregistered securities. And just like we tell our clients and our contacts and our prospects today, if you want to do an ICO, you probably need to look at a security token offering. You probably need to look at doing a Reg D. You probably, if you're going offshore, you need to file an S. There are legal frameworks that impact there. And we were not willing to take the unmitigated risk associated with issuing an ICO and taking that capital in and then being liable for it, right? The SEC just gets to show up later and be like, hey, guess what? You got to give all that money back, plus. And by the way, you already spent it doing whatever. So there you go. So we have no plans on issuing an ICO. We have no plans on going to market with a token offering at this time. We do believe there are token use cases in business environments that may warrant offerings at certain times. And that's a very interesting conversation to have. It is not something that we are taking to market. It's not something that we are deploying. We are looking at token use cases with our partners. We're looking at token use cases with our prospects and with our clients. Those are all things that are real world applications of what these tools do. But as an organization, as a direct funding source for our company, we do not feel that an ICO is worth the risk, and we don't feel that there's enough clarity within the legal space, especially as a publicly traded company, for us to take one to market and utilize it. So that's the answer there. As far as the dividend question goes, we have a belief that a well-run company should retain as much capital as it can productively and expediently deploy. And that if that company is generating additional profits and revenues, that instead of shoving them offshore or burying them into company uses that may not be as impactful as they could be, because what happens when you have a bunch of extra capital and you just start having managers get paid to deploy it, right? Well, you give people checkbooks, they'll find a way to use it, and that use might not be the best interest of everybody involved. As shareholders, as major shareholders, common shareholders of this company, we do want to see our company pay out a sizable dividend of the net profits moving forward when those times come. At this time, that's not a reality for the company. A dividend is a dividing of the end result, right? And so we do not have a net profit to announce today to say we've made all of this extraneous cash, we've done all of this work, and we have all of this, extra liquidity, and we want to spread that out to the shareholders. That's not a reality today. With that being said, do I believe that companies have a responsibility to look at the opportunities in front of the company, the R&D expenses, the known acquisition deployments, having a capital cushion, and then take that extraneous capital amount and return it to shareholders in the form of dividends and share buybacks? I absolutely do. I absolutely believe that. I would never want to be in the position of Apple of having hundreds of billions of dollars of offshore cash just stashed places and just shoving money places and not returning those funds to shareholders for them to go take actions with. I think that is something that companies should do. I think it's something that we should do, but it is not something that's going to happen today. And I am just as interested in that as you are, as a major common stockholder of No Borders. So yes, as a core company belief, we believe that the company should only retain enough capital to do the acquisitions that it has on its radar, the research and development that it needs for future sustained growth, company operations, and a capital cushion for incidentals. Other capital, in our opinion, should be returned to shareholders via dividends and share buybacks as those realities occur. So I hope that answers your question. That's our belief, and that's our stance. Moving on from there, something that's not announced yet. So there is a PR going out tomorrow, but this will be kind of the pre-announcement of the press release. We have added Jonathan Parnell as our Chief Development Officer. Jonathan is absolutely an incredible, incredible, incredible person. I have the distinct pleasure of knowing him for quite a while and working with him indirectly on several projects and directly on several projects over the last few months. And he is absolutely one of the most dynamic and brilliant and dedicated people that I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. And being able to announce him as Lannister Chief Development Officer gives me so much pride and so much joy. I hope that you guys welcome him. His LinkedIn is being updated today. We have a press release going on about him tomorrow. The websites are being updated, both with his information and with all of the kind of changes and advisory board members and everything that's going on. Jonathan is an incredible entrepreneurial leader. He has specialized his entire life in the full life cycle development of applications from concept on and the building of community. He is a brilliant software engineer with deep, deep, deep history in system design, architecture, lean software development, and he has provided thought leadership in blockchain, Web 3.0, big data, cloud native applications, DevOps, open source, microservices, software engineering, application release automation, and education. The guy has literally been there, done that on every spectrum. He works very, very closely with Chris, our CTO, and is just an absolutely incredible part of the Lannister family. So we're very, very happy to have Jonathan with us. And please, check him out on LinkedIn. Follow him. His information will be up on the website in the next day or so, and that press release will be going out tomorrow morning. So welcome, Jonathan, to the Lannister family, and welcome to being a Lannister. Finishing up here, we have not really an update about FINRA. FINRA's not really the kind of, they don't really give us updates. We send a bunch of paperwork and then hope that that they send it back, I guess, according to what my attorneys tell me. So we have filed for the name and ticker symbol change with FINRA. They have sent back some list of questions. We have sent back lists of answers. That is a work in progress. Our attorneys and our finance guys are working on it. I am deeply involved in that. It's an active and ongoing thing. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I have no idea what the next step is. It's just one of these things that we answer everything as quickly as we can. We reply as quickly as we can. We work as hard as we can on it. So we're doing that. The audits, we're working on it. The auditing company is phenomenal. They've been super, super spot on, getting back and forth with questions and analyzing things and all this kind of stuff. So actively working on those pieces. I know that everybody is keen to be updated on them. So am I. We can supply everything, we can comply with everything, we can put all the pieces together, and then we hurry up and wait, right? So anybody that's been in the military, all about that. The last piece of news, which everybody knows, but I'm super stoked about, is we are current with the OTC. It says pink, on our thing. There's no yield sign. There's no stop sign. In the perpetuity of running a public company, that just kicks the next chain. Oh, there's my dogs again. Hey, who knew? That just kicks over the next chain of questions. I understand that, but we're thrilled to be current with the OTC market. We're thrilled to have gotten through all of the work around and involved with bringing the company back to a financial position with the market that was current. And I literally can't describe to you what a huge lift that is. That is a giant pain. I use the reference of imagine balancing your wife's checkbook for the last 2 years without her there, multiply that by 10,000. That's basically what we just did. So super, super proud of our finance teams, our legal teams, Michael Handelman, Cynthia Tanabe, Andrew Coldicott. These people worked incredibly hard to make all of this happen. They're still working on FINRA stuff. They're still working on audits. Absolutely takes a village for sure. So from everybody here at the Lannister family, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for placing your faith and your trust and your capital into our business. And we are going to continue working very, very hard, both on all of our internal use cases, on all of the things that we see around the opportunities for acquisitions, the opportunities for structured finance vehicles and structured investment vehicles. Also on the development side, all of the work that we're doing with consulting and with development and with prospects and clients over there. We are hard at work, and we are not going to stop working hard. It's something we're dedicated to doing. We're dedicated to scaling and growing responsibly, growing with fiscal austerity and in a socially conscious way. So again, from everybody here at the Lannister family, thank you so much for your time and your attention. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week and a phenomenal August.